Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Stray Hydra Blade, and today I'm going to be talking about how to live the good life. So, how to live a good life? The good life. How to live the good life? Well, there's a couple different things I'd like to talk about. I'm not going to get into any descriptions. I'm just going to jump straight into it here. One thing is you need to have motivation. You need to be able to motivate yourself and know how to motivate yourself. One thing is something that I've talked about a lot is V1 and all this sort of stuff. But really, like, you need to take whatever you're passionate about and go after it, and it will build. So if you have like any sort of spark of motivation in your body, you can figure out how to kindle that flame like you kindle a fire and grow it into a roaring bonfire. So that's what we're really trying to do here. We need to be able to take this unlimited power that is motivation, how to become an unstoppable force. And I think that's just one of the first things that you need to do in your life. One of the things that you need to understand is how to build this motivation, because this is going to be the source of everything that you do in your life. This is going to be how you get by, really, is by, it's really what gets you up in the morning, what gets you off the mattress. That's what motivation is. And without it, you would be dead. You'd just be dead. So if you're alive, I can guarantee you have some sort of motivation. You need to figure out how to take that motivation and take that little spark that you have and turn it into a bonfire. Now, the way to do this is practicing it, training it, exercising it, experience, practice it over and over and over again. Basically take whatever you want to be good at. Take what, you're motivated towards something, right? Say like you're good at this like video game or something like that, and you need to, okay, for me, for instance, I'm good at building. I like to build stuff. Handyman, metal, wood, steel, plastic, build maker community kind of stuff, Mythbusters sort of thing. I like to do that kind of stuff, and that kind of stuff, it motivates me. And in order to get more motivation, really what I find is that all I need to do is go out, surround myself with these things, and start building. And that immediately I spark a bunch of ideas. I get into it like crazy. I get tons of experience manipulating the tools that I have at hand and understanding how to use them to my advantage. And doing this gives me more of like a Wikipedia. I got like tricks up my sleeve. I got a Batman belt full of tricks here that I can pull out at my disposal and use to achieve whatever I want to achieve. And this kind of builds on itself, because I might have some small motivation to go out and build something I think is cool, but if I focus, and I've been building things for years now, I have a plethora of other things that I'm capable of building. And now I have so many things that I think, like back then when I first started, it's like, okay, yeah, these, I have an idea, do a little build thing, that might be cool. Play with Legos is how I started, do something cool with Legos. And now I've gotten to the point where I could basically like build almost anything that I want. A crossbow out of milk jugs, a human-sized hamster wheel, all these sorts of things. And really, this is a prime example of how motivation works. How do you build the motivation? It's as simple as you find the motivation and you cultivate it. Another thing that I would probably touch on is on how to build the good life, or how to live the good life. is realize that, you know, this too shall pass. That's a statement you might hear a lot. And it's basically just saying, okay, well, you know, bad times are here, but, you know, it's going to be over eventually, which it will. Because the fact of the matter is, everything is constantly changing. Constantly. And, sure, I know some people that will argue with me on that and say that things are always the same. But there are both sides of the argument here. I'm picking the argument that is everything is changing. I could pick the other one if I wanted to. Like a lawyer, I could choose whatever side I want and focus on that. But I think this is going to be the side that's the most useful for everybody here, is that everything is constantly changing. If you've noticed, your mood changes. You go from happy to sad on a daily basis, or within an hour, or within seconds. You can go from happy, then you get a text saying you're fired, and now you're sad. So it fluctuates very frequently. And you need to realize to yourself that when you are sad, one of the best things that can help you out of this is that if you are sad, understand, like truly believing that things will get better, because they basically by definition have to get better because of the fact that things are constantly changing. You could say like, oh, they're going to get worse. But the reality of the situation is things might be pretty bad, but I mean, if you're living in like a first world country or something like that, there's a pretty good chance that these things are going to come back. I mean, unless you're like in extreme poverty or something extraordinary bad is happening. And even in those cases, there's still chances that things will get good. So if you kind of like, you'll shoot yourself in the foot if you are just sitting here and you're sad and you think to yourself, things are never going to get better, they're never going to change. You really need to be thinking to yourself, okay, right now I'm sad and nothing is really happening. But as soon as the sun comes back, as soon as I'm happy again, that's when I'm going to really hit the ball rolling. That's when I'm going to strike back at life. That's when I'm going to get stuff done. That's what mentality you need to be having, instead of being just loathing in your own sadness and being like, oh, I'm so sad. Instead, you need to get out of that. Not that you need to get out of it. It's more that you realize that you will get out of it, and not just sit there saying, well, I'm sad and so maybe I should kill myself because just my whole life is going to be like this. Because really it's not. That's an illusion. You think your life is going to be like this, but it's changing. And then which brings me to my next subject, which is that a lot of people want to end their life. A lot of people, really, if life is a video game, a lot of people just suck at the game. They're new, they're noobs, they don't know how to play it, okay? And so because they don't know how to play it, they get butthurt, they get sad, they want to quit. Okay, that's just how it works. Now, we can realize this and then figure out that, oh, so in order to be happy, in order to feel good, in order to get more wins at the game, I need to actually play the game longer and experience things more and get better at the game. And the fact of the matter is that pretty much just everybody has experienced like less than 1% that the universe has to offer. Like not even like 0.000000001% of the universe has been even explored. Okay, and we're on this little blue ball called Earth. So there is like, have you ever been a pirate? Have you ever gone to prison? Have you ever died? Have you ever what's something cool? Have you ever fought in a war? I don't know. I could just give you. Have you ever had PTSD? Have you ever experienced what it's like to be in the 1% of the population, the wealthiest of the wealthiest? The chances are for half of these things, you probably haven't done these. Really, there's so much of the world that even like people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s haven't even touched upon. So when you're like my age, for example, I'm 22 currently at recording this. You're my age or younger, someone who's like 16 perhaps. um, who might think like, my life sucks. Jessica didn't ask me out to the prom. I'm gonna kill myself. So if you have like that kind of mentality, really, I would say it's because you haven't gotten good at the game of life. Really, just get good, son. And this isn't to try to be insensitive to people, because people got problems. I get that. Okay, what we're trying to do here is I'm trying to pick you up out of these problems now. So that's one thing I would say. It's just, if your life sucks, you're in a bad place, you're negative, you ever feel negative, chances are that what's going to fix it is just you learning something. The more you learn, the more you earn, is a phrase I've heard. This is kind of applying to that. It's really, if you're ever sad, it's usually because you can't get what you want. You don't know how to get what you want. You think it's impossible to get what you want. You had something taken away from you. You lost something. You failed at something. And really the cure to all this is just get better. If you want to stop failing, you need to start learning how to be a winner. If you want to, there's this phrase, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, which I disagree with, because the way that people use it is, oh, you're suicidal? Well, just fix your life and then it would be fixed. It's not really good advice to say, just pull yourself up out of this rut. What are you doing? You can't, that doesn't really help anyone. I would never tell somebody how to fix your life is, well, you need to just suck it up and be better at life. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. It might sound like what I'm saying here, but what I'm not telling you that it's really your responsibility. I'm trying to be the guy who introduces you to these new ideas that will finally like get you out of that rut. So that when you're feeling this way, you're feeling hopeless and you don't know how to get out, instead of just telling you, well, you just need to get out, dig yourself out of that hole. Instead, I'm trying to hand you a shovel. Wait, is that a good analogy? I don't know, but the point is, I'm the one who's trying to give you the tools you need to get out of that hole. Okay, I'm not just a bystander who's saying, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You need to get yourself out of the hole. Anyways, have a good day. Leaves you with nothing. So, yeah, when I say to stop being sad and to stop feeling negative, you need to just get better at life, I mean it. Really, I'm just trying to show you that, like, the more you can get out of your comfort zone, the more you can learn, the more training you have at life, the more you've experienced, the better you get at life. If you suck at something, do your best to try to like learn how to get better at it. And there's this infinite resource called the internet. It's basically like having the Library of Alexandria at your fingertips here. And you can look up anything you want to know and do research on it, learn. You can even learn how to learn. So this is a huge possibility. Whatever you want in your life right now, just Google it. If you want money, literally look up how to get money. If you want to learn how to win at everything, look up how to win at everything. You can find pretty much anything you want. They'll come up with something. It might not be the answer you want, but have you at least even searched up what you want? If you're not like getting a boyfriend or girlfriend, have you ever just Googled, how do I get a boyfriend or girlfriend? The chances are you haven't. I sure hadn't by age 18. I had never even Googled how to have a healthy relationship or how to be nice to people, which these are things that seem so simple. But, and it's funny to look back on it now, but, the fact of the matter is when you're born, you don't know anything. You dropped on this planet. The first thing you need to do is learn. And if you're negative, you hate your life, you hate where you are, you think you're ugly, you think no one loves you, any of this stuff, you can fix it. Basically is what I'm telling you, is that you can fix it if you have access to the internet. Maybe even if you don't have access to the internet, you have access to people, you have access to your own mind. You can use the scientific method to try things out and to suss out opportunities until you can find them. So you hate life, you're disappointed with your life, get more experience in life, in general, or in specific things, either or. But just get more experience. This is one of the most important things, experience and training. And specifically, if you're trying to get good at any one skill set, you want to be the best builder, you want to be the best YouTuber, you want to be the best businessman. What you need to do is get good at being a businessman. You need to practice, you need to train, you need experience, you need to do research. And doing these things will get you to be better and better. Now, another thing I want to talk about, I'll try to make it quick, but there's this idea that, in competitions are usually pretty well balanced. In video games, the communities, they try to make them as well balanced as they possibly can, because if they're not well balanced, people usually can get somebody who's like overpowered will come and they will destroy the new players, absolutely demolish them, spawn kill them, camp them, whatever. Because there'll be just such a huge imbalance. So one of the most important things to keep a game fun is to keep it balanced, right? But in the real world, in real life, compared to a video game where it's so well balanced, the real world is so imbalanced. Somebody can think about how people felt like thousands of years ago building castles and stuff in the Roman eras, or around those time periods. Somebody could have been like on the other side of the world for hundreds of years, or like Columbus came over. He went from the one place, he came over to America, and now he found out, holy cow, there's this whole other civilization that's living over here, that's been over here for, if you believe in like Pangea and all that, and the Indians were over there for like, what was it, like thousands or hundreds of thousands of years or whatever, and nobody even knew until he came over. Allegedly some people had known, but the whole idea is this. Let me tell you some experience from real world experience that I have on this situation, which was in a very unbalanced video game that I was in. I was playing this video game called Unturned. It's a survival zombie apocalypse Minecraft-y kind of video game where it's like a sandbox, but on this server you could literally like build up a mass of wealth and power over the course of years. And if some new player came along, you could just completely destroy them. Super overpowered. And you know what? I had built up tons of power and I was like really good. We had a team. Me and my other teammate, we were like this. I mean, we owned the place, okay? We had a strategy where we set up camp on this island that was surrounded by water, and we put planks all around the water so nobody could climb or break any blocks. It was literally physically impossible to approach us from the water. You couldn't destroy the blocks to get past or anything like that. And there was a teleportation system that was in that game, so all we had to do is one guy goes out and he grabs resources, and then instead of, because there's no way to get back on the island, all I would do is click the buttons to send him back. So he'd go out and he would say like, okay, I'm getting shot at, teleport me back now. Or like we had a keyword like go, 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 or something like that. And then I would click the button, immediately send him back. So now he's got tons of loot and he just comes back. We repeat that process. We're basically untouchable, right? Well, guess what? After like months of doing that, some guy came out of the sky, built a tower over top of us, and it was a huge tower. Like you could tell he had been taking a lot of time. He was so high up we couldn't even see him in the sky. And then he dropped hundreds of bombs onto our compound that we had built, completely destroying us. There was literally nothing we could do about it. So this kind of goes to show just how unbalanced. Imagine like that's just over the course of a couple of months. Imagine now there's some culture on the other side of the world who's been building up this infrastructure and building up their army for hundreds of years. And you are on this planet for like 20 years, 40 years, however old you are. So this gives a lot of imbalance. And it's really hard to beat anybody who's like way overpowered than you are. And so we're not really trying to focus so much on how to beat somebody that is way overpowered than you, because the fact of the matter is people are always going to be like climbing the scales and climbing the ranks. One person's going to be moving faster than another. So sure, it would be nice to imagine that we could just win all battles and be better than everybody always. But really, the best we can actually do as humans is get better over time and just get as best as we can. Really, do the best that you can. Be the best that you can be. That's all that you really can do. And it's not a bad thing. It's not like, oh no, this is all that I can do. It's so bad. It's more like, no, you need to look at it as, how good can I be? How good can I figure out how to be? Like, where does the limit? You need to find that limit. You're trying to suss out what your limit is. If you look at yourself in the mirror right this moment and ask yourself, are you at the peak of where you could be right now? I guarantee you, you're not. You could go so much higher. And even if you think you're good right now, there is no ceiling until you are dead. You can get better and better and better until you're dead, basically, until your body starts to shut down and you die. So as long as you are still breathing, there's still the opportunity for you to basically become the unstoppable force that you always dreamt of being. Really. So some other points that I want to try to talk about. I talked about how to, you need to have motivation, and how you need to like spark the motivation, to, like, take that motivation, that spark that you have, and like build onto that. And that's like the fuel for your life. That's your motivation moving forward. And there's so many other ins and outs. I would say, like, one of the main things is understanding how to build motivation. Understanding that when times are tough, things, this too shall pass. Things will get better. You need to also understand that if you hate your life, chances are you just suck at the game, the game of life. You need to get better at it. You need to experience more of it. You need to train. If you suck at life, it's like a lion who doesn't know how to hunt. If the lion doesn't know how to hunt, he's gonna die. The lion needs to know how to hunt. As a human, you need to know how to. Your version of hunting is going out and doing business. It's going out and winning battles. It's going out and being the best at something. It's knowing how to do your taxes. Simple stuff like this. And if you don't know how to do these simple things, you don't know how to change the oil in your car, a whole list of things, life is just going to be, you're going to be like a lion who doesn't know how to hunt. And that's really what we're trying to avoid here. I'm trying to think of any other things that I would really want to tell you, and how to build the good life, how to live the good life. Learn from your mistakes. Just try to look back on them. Just try to recollect on them, and think about, like, what did you do wrong, and like, how can you make it better? How could you do better next time? Keep records of things so that you can look back on them and look at it from like a bird's eye view. Keep a journal. Take pictures of things that are important to you. Memories go pretty quickly, so you can forget things very fast. You need to have things that are like constant reminders. It's kind of like if somebody who's like, he's the ultimate chess master, but he hasn't played in 20 years. He's been focusing on like painting since then. He comes back to chess and he's rusty. So really, to like break the rust off of the machine, what we need to do is actually like work on it. We need to prime ourselves. When you're like fully, you've been studying for like a project for the past like week or month, you start to get really in depth into it. The best like scientists and researchers, and the best anything really, it's people that have been doing this stuff for like 10 years. They've been focusing on one single thing for 10 years, understanding it deeper and deeper. The fact of everything is that everything can always be looked into deeper. It's ever unfolding. Your consciousness about things, the things that you're aware of, are constantly growing. So if you want to get good at anything, what you need to do is just build up a better understanding of it, how it works, and how to manipulate it. And you can do this for years. Just stick to something and work on that. Become a master of something. Really, you need like 10,000 hours in one subject if you want to be a master of it. You could probably do that in maybe like 5 to 10 years to become a master at something. And it takes time. But, without this understanding of these things, you're going to just suck at it. You're going to be bad at the game. You're not going to know how to get stuff done, how to get results. And really, that's the best advice I can ever give you, is just get better. Get better at life. Learn more. Expand. One of the tricks here is that like people don't know what they should be learning. So like they're unaware of all the things that they need to be learning. So you have to teach them what they should be. You have to learn them what they should be learning. You have to tell them, you have to point them in the direction, like say, hey, you need to learn more about this, or you need to learn more about that. But see, like if they don't know what they should be learning about, they don't even know whether or not you're telling the truth. So, experience is king in life. I would say like, just think about it off the top of my head. If you want to be the best, if you want to live the best life, you need experience. The more experience you can get, the better. Direct experience, not hearsay of, hearsay is fine. If somebody tells you don't jump off a cliff, you need to take that into consideration. But you need to do some sort of tests yourself, like throw a rock off of it and see if maybe you're newborn on this planet, you don't even know that gravity exists, so you have to throw a rock to see if indeed it will fall and plummet to the bottom of the cliff. You need to kind of use a scientific method in this example and just test things out. Literally just stop messing around with it and just start asking, like, okay, ask one question about a thing and then answer it. Be like, what does it mean to live a good life? Or like, how do I live a good life? And then put out an answer. A lot of people, I almost guarantee you that nobody has even been thinking about what it means to live the good life. And if I asked you what it meant to live the good life, you wouldn't just have an answer at your fingertips. You'd probably have to sit and think about it for maybe a minute or two, because you never actually even asked yourself what a good life is. You got some really like vague idea. It's like maybe it's this, maybe it's that. You don't really know. You don't have like a solid understanding of it. And what I'm saying is we need to start kind of using science. And science has its limits, don't get me wrong, but like has a basis. It's kind of like saying math. Like first grade math has its limits, okay? But we need to learn first grade math before we can get to second grade math and to third grade and then 12th grade math eventually. So we can't just throw away science. Science does have its limits. But we need to use and focus on science a bit more. And of course there's different steps, but I feel like right now we're kind of in the era that science is the most important thing to be teaching. This idea of just learning, it's so, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, it's such a important thing to be able to do, to be able to just go out there and like learn, be good, get wins, do better. I mean, I feel like almost like I'm trying to be a motivational speaker here. I'm like, you can achieve anything, follow your dreams. But like, it's true, like, you don't chase these things. And that's kind of the best I have on how to live the good life. in summary, it's you need to realize that like things seem bad right now. This too shall pass. And if you want to get places, if you want anything, what is motivation? See, you know, it's what moves you. It's what gets you up off the couch. And you know, you really, like, when I started asking myself, like, well, how do I get more motivation? It was more like, how do I get this hunger inside of me? How do I make it so that I want something insanely bad? How do I make it so that I want something so badly that I could move an entire mountain? Because you're gonna need a lot of motivation. You can't just come out and be like, I'm feeling lazy today, so I'm gonna try to move this mountain. How far do you think you're gonna get doing that? You're gonna grab a handful of dirt and put it over there, and you're gonna be like, that's good enough for me. You're not gonna be able to move a mountain without this motivation. So I'm thinking, how do we get massive amounts of motivation? And you know, motivation and power are kind of two different things, because it's like, what if you could move a mountain? What if you were like God or some godlike figure? You could move a mountain literally like with your fingertip, or like you're Superman or something like this, and you can just grab a mountain with one hand and move the whole thing. For you, maybe you're lazy and you're like, I guess I'll move this mountain. So you can still move the mountain if you're lazy. So there's a different power level, you know. A rabbit pulling a wagon, as hard as he might, you know, he has tons of motivation. He's still not going to really be able to pull this wagon as good as a T-Rex is going to be able to pull this wagon. A T-Rex could do it, just lazily pull this, like it's easy, just like it was nothing. And so, you know, on one hand we have like, well, you need to be motivated, but then it's like, well, motivation isn't everything. You also need to have power. So the good thing about like humans is, you know, we're tricky. We can be like not very powerful ourselves, but we can hire 1,000 workers to move a mountain for us if only we knew how to get the money to do that. So if we could find out how to get the money, then we could move that mountain easily. So we can find different ways, and that's the one of the great things about being human is there's pretty much a way to do everything. There's a loophole to do everything. You know, one of the reasons that I struggle making more of these types of videos is just because any one of these, there's so much to talk about. There's so much, I could talk about it for an eternity. And sure, I could give you like, you know, 1 or 2 steps, but really the best I can think is just boil it down to like an hour long of content and call that good. Hopefully that you'd be able to get some sort of benefit out of that. You know, we have to cut off the stream at some point. I can't just tell you literally everything, because that would take literally all of time for me to tell you it. So I'm really only telling you here just little itty bits, and hopefully they get you like a little bit more aware of things. It's easier to digest when you can just click a YouTube video and put that in the background while you play Minecraft for an hour, or on your way to work, or whatever. So, you know, listening to audiobooks and things like that. But, you know, it helps me to explain these things, because one of the best ways to teach things is to, or I mean, one of the best ways to learn things is to teach. So I'm kind of, you know, experimenting with that a little bit and just trying to teach as much as I can, because I feel that the more I'm able to teach these things, the more understanding I'm going to get about it myself. And right now, in just telling you how to live the good life, I'm realizing that, you know, there's so many different things involved in it, and it's like, oh my gosh, what are the best things that I could tell you, you know, which like the best thing I could tell you is just to get experience. that you need to get as much experience and training as you can. Because the more experience in life you get, the better you're going to get at the game. Somebody who's a noob, he's going to do a lot worse than somebody who's played the game 100 times. So, how do you think Dream gets so good at Minecraft? It's because, he's taken on like 5 guys. They can't even come close to him. It's, Dream, this is his life. He practices like day in and day out to be the best at this, to try to win this specific skill set. Nobody else really does that. They kind of just mess around and they're doing whatever. They don't really make it a goal to do this, and it shows. It really shows how just worlds ahead, more prepared he is than them. And that's one of the things that experience will get you, is it gets you better. So how to live the good life? Experience. But when I tell you this, it sounds so vague. When I say to you, just get experience, man, just get good at the game, it doesn't do it justice. It's like what do you want me to tell you? That's how you do it. It's like, you need more examples, you need more understanding. Watch a lot of shows, watch documentaries, read books. Don't read books, actually, they suck. Listen to audiobooks instead, honestly. You get a lot more done. Watch YouTube videos on ×2 speed so you can just get the information faster. There's some takeaways from that, because you're not going to get the same vibe, so you won't learn certain things, but you can learn more, like, if it's a Wikipedia article, you kind of want to just speed through it, instead of like, if you're watching some cinematic masterpiece, you want to feel more of the emotion. Learn how to feel inside your mind. Learn how to understand and feel what feelings you're even feeling, and distinct them. Like if you're a wine taster, and you can, a wine connoisseur, and you can taste the different, very distinct aromas and flavors of each type of wine. You want to be able to do that with your own mind, the thoughts that you think. Taste the distinct flavors of your mind. Taste the distinct flavors that a TV show gives. What's one type of comedy versus another type of comedy? What's one type of action versus another type of action? How does Eagle Eye, the movie Eagle Eye with Shia LaBeouf, how does that correlate to Dream Minecraft manhunts? And I'll tell you, one of the ways I figured out is the thing that makes Eagle Eye so great is Shia LaBeouf is literally Dream in that movie. He's basically like, due to the help of this computer, he is able to do pretty much anything. He gets away from the cops in any situation, and is capable of doing anything through the help of the AI, of course. And it really, he's just being chased by the cops. It's literally a manhunt that they're on over this guy in the same exact way that Dream is. So you can, see how you understand how those two things are similar, and also understand how those two things are different. Learning distinctions. That's all getting experience and training is you're learning the distinctions between these things. So, yeah. I think that I've done an okay job of telling you now, how to live the good life. Just giving you the best advice that I can give you. You're just born into this world as a full-grown adult, but you don't know anything. What's the advice that I'm going to tell you to get you where you need to be? And I mean, it's really tough, but just, you need to learn. Learning, it's the key to everything. Maybe, throwing a ball. Is throwing a ball the most important thing you need to learn in life? Is eating the most important thing you need to learn in life? How do you choose what is the most important thing in life? And the best answer I could really come up with what is the most important thing in life is learning, education, training, experience, learning distinctions between things and learning the similarities between things. And the better you get at this, the better you get at this, the better you get. So in my own life, I have a couple different hobbies and things that I'm trying to achieve. One of the things that I focus on a lot is my own psychology and understanding my own mind. I want to get really good at this. By the time, if I live to see another 5 or 10 years, if I don't die in a car accident or something, in 10 years I'd like to be able to be like a master of my own mind, understanding it completely, never being cornered into depression, never being unable to reason my way out of something. I want to be impervious. I know it's pretty much impossible to make yourself completely invulnerable. Dream can die at some point in these Minecraft manhunts, but we want to be the best that we can be, and that's what I want to do with psychology and YouTube as well. So I've been trying to do a YouTube channel for like 7 years now. It's never really gone too well, and I've been like very bad at it. But even when I very first started, so 7 years ago, I thought to myself, I need to start as early as I can, because I know it's going to take me 5 or 10 years until I'm like actually good at YouTube and I finally start getting good views and subscribers and watch time, which is something that I knew. And I look at my channel right now, I'm still not really getting views. I'm still learning, but I feel a lot closer than I was when I started. A lot closer, worlds closer. It might not seem like it to the naked eye, but being someone who's been in the thick of it, I'm realizing all the distinctions and understanding just how far that I've come, because only you can see the progress that you've made. You're the only person who can. And other various hobbies. For instance, this is getting kind of meta here, but just making this YouTube video or journaling. I'll talk about journaling first. I started journaling about like 2 or 3 years ago, and keeping logs. I have paper journals. I have a journal on my computer. I have a journal on my phone. I have images saved. I have links saved. I have important like lessons that I learned and experiences that I went through saved so that I can look at them. I have some things highlighted that are like the most important things that I want to remember, and other things that are just kind of trash that I could go through and look at and analyze. I have a log of what I do on a daily basis. I have a log for my vehicle and the maintenance that I've done on it. I have a log for my finances. All these sorts of things, I put this all into the category of journaling, of documentation. Just really any time that you observe something and then you write it down. That's basically what journaling is. Which is funny because as I'm thinking about it, funny story here, I went to get a college degree and try to figure out what I was going to do in my life, and I took a test to figure out what I was going to be the best at, or what I would probably prefer to do most. And one of the results they gave me was like mechanical engineering, and another one was journalism. So I guess there's some sort of truth to that, because journalism has become one of the like core things that I do in my life now, and I think that I'm just getting better at it and better at it as it goes on. And so I'm working on YouTube. I'm working on training for the videos that I'm making now, the type of content that I'm making now, training. This is all my testimony here of like how important, or giving you kind of an example or a taste of like what my own personal, like how this has worked for me. So then maybe you can start to see how it may or may not work for you. Okay, to help you kind of define it a little bit better, is that these few things, I really look at them like, if I just focus on them more and I do them more, I get better at them. I'm learning so much like when I do them. And just thinking about it right now, it's actually very interesting to me how there's so much that I know about them right now. I can't even imagine how much I'm going to know about them if I keep studying them for the next 5 or 10 years, because I already feel so good at it. But I know that I'm like pennies compared to like some other people, and when it comes to journaling, YouTube, or psychology or philosophy. So it's crazy to think of how high we could go with this, and I'm really trying to push it as much as I can each day. So yeah, that's that's why I'd say like experience is king. Train. You need to train to live the good life. You need to like find something you're motivated towards and just like stick to it. Just do it more. And it'll build your motivation. Once you get good at it, you're going to be more motivated to do it. And just, play around with something, sandbox with something, and you're going to end up getting ideas. It's going to give you ideas. You're going to go for these ideas, and you want to focus on the V1. Don't focus on the ideas that are like, you want them so badly, but they hurt you, and they're negative, they're confusing, you don't know how to get them. It's frustrating and painful to hold on to these, even though you want it so bad. Try to just throw those away, okay? We really want to be focusing on the ideas that are like, you see them and you have a clear goal and vision of what you want to do. You see it in your mind, you have an idea of what you want, and just go for that. Now, I don't really feel like I've done an extremely good job of telling you, how to live the good life. I wouldn't even really call it how to live the good life. I could probably call it like how to get experience. Like, it's such a broad topic. Maybe I should stick to like how to be good at journaling. But these are some like core, like basic fundamentals, the building blocks, I guess you would say, of doing anything else. Is like, you need to have motivation towards it. You need to be able to get experience in it. You need to understand, sometimes you might lose the battle, but still you can win the war. Things like that. But for now, I think this video has gone off a little long. So, I think the last thing to kind of wrap up this video, what I would say is, if you want to live the good life, you gotta plan. You gotta test things out. You gotta test things out in your own mind. Don't forget that, like, there's a whole other world inside your own mind. You need to, like, in your own mind, just think about and, like, suss out and try to find the V1. And once you've found the V1, it courses through your veins and can get you motivated towards some other goal in your life. Some other target that you're trying to hit. Yeah. To live the good life, be the best. To live the good life, just be the best. Get good at it. I mean, gosh, if you asked me like 5 years ago, how life was going, I literally didn't know anything. I didn't know, I knew how to like eat and read and write and speak English. Okay, that's all I knew. Okay, I had to learn how to deal with people, how to have relationships. Literally until this year, I didn't even understand the concept of how to be nice to someone or why being nice to someone is important. Never even crossed my mind. Okay, ask my exes about that. They'll tell you all about it. Of how I didn't know how to be nice. So this is something that, actually not understanding this has gotten me fired from a job of mine once. So, I'm still learning these things. The concept of how to understand people, I didn't know anything. 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about it. Understanding my own mind. Literally, like 2 years ago, didn't know nothing about it. The only thing I really have known for a while, is how to do YouTube. But I haven't had like the ability to focus on YouTube because I didn't know how to make money. I didn't know, I didn't know how to get jobs. I didn't, stuff like this. Like, I didn't, I'm still learning how to get money. It's, it's still something that's like, it's not like easy for me. So, I mean, I really think that, I told a person one time, I said to him, don't you wish that life was as easy as Minecraft? Because in Minecraft, you can set up a farm and have all the resources taken care of, auto farms, and you just have so much food you don't even know what to do with, and all the resources you could imagine. But in real life, you're like struggling the whole way through, and it's incredibly hard to make any sort of progress or money, and everybody seems depressed. Everybody's acting like life is like the hardest thing in the world. Like, nobody, go do a poll and see how many people have like an automatic farm in their backyard where it's like all their money is just taken care of and they don't even have to lift a finger. Basically nobody, unless you're like the 1%. So, how come life is like that when Minecraft isn't? Well, I asked this person this and they're like, yeah, that's weird, how come? But I've thought to myself and finally realized that the reason that it's like that is because Minecraft is much simpler. It's a block game. There's like 3 dynamics in it that you need to learn. I mean, there's more than that, but compared to life, Minecraft is pennies to life. Okay, life is thousands of times more grand and a lot more things to learn than Minecraft has. And that's really the difference. To me, that's really the difference. Imagine a world where you can walk through life as easy as you could walk through Minecraft. And it was as fun as Minecraft. If you could make that for yourself, if you've played Minecraft before, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. So if you could make your life like that, now what I'm telling you is that you can make your life like that. What I'm telling you is that actually the only thing separating your life from being peaceful mode in Minecraft is your understanding of how life works and how good you are at it. And that eventually, once you've learned enough, you will be good at it. And people can like live their entire lives without learning enough because maybe they were never even pointed in the right direction to start learning. They didn't know. So they just went through life, coasted, and did the bare minimum until like age 40, something hits them and they're like, oh, I got to do something with my life. And then they had a midlife crisis or something. And so like, people can live their entire life without understanding that all you need, they live their entire life in pain and they don't understand that all you need to do to live the good life is just get good at the game. They're stuck at the same job for 40 years. They don't know anything else than that. And you can see it. You can understand like how little they understand about the world. Haven't been outside of their own little bubble. And they're scared and they're like wounded animals. So what you need to do is be the opposite of that. If you want your life to be peaceful mode Minecraft, you need to go out and learn as much as you can and get as much experience as you can. Try new things. If you don't know something and you want to know it, learn it. If you're thinking to yourself like, oh, I don't know how to get money, learn how to get money. Study how to get money. Study it for years until you finally get to the point where you know how to make money, and then it's going to come easy to you. You're literally going to be asking yourself, is it that easy? Give me a challenge. You're going to be like Dream, where he's like got 5 people chasing him and he's thinking to himself, is it that easy? Come on, add another 5 guys to the group. That's what you could have for your life, is what I'm telling you here. And with that, I think I'll leave you on that note. This is how to live the good life. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any comments, leave them down below. I currently, as I'm filming this, have 4 subscribers, so I read every single comment. I could have a whole hour-long chat with you in the comments. If you got any questions, I'd love to talk about it. But that's all I got for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you feel better watching this video. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.